All right, let's be real for a second. Have you ever looked at a woman and felt like something was happening under the surface? Something silent, intense, maybe even sexual, but couldn't quite explain it? That's not in your head. It's biology, it's psychology, and more than anything, it's pattern. And today, we're exposing what 98% of women never say out loud, but their bodies scream in silence. The secret fantasy, and the exact arousal signals they unconsciously give off when it's triggered. This isn't a trick. It's not about manipulation. It's about finally understanding the truth beneath words, and recognizing the unspoken signals that most men spend their entire lives ignoring. Because if you don't learn this, someone else will. And you'll never know why she looked at him that way, and not you. If this topic helps you see things differently, even just a little, consider liking the video, sharing it with someone who needs this truth, and dropping your thoughts in the comments. It means more than you think. So let's dive straight into the hidden side of female psychology, where desire, submission, and silent attraction meet the eyes, the posture, and the breathing without a single word being spoken. The secret fantasy of 98% of women, and the involuntary gestures that give it away. There's something most men never see coming. She might be sitting across from you, smiling politely, nodding along, and yet her body's screaming something her mouth will never say. You see, attraction doesn't begin with words. It begins with visual cues, subtle shifts in energy, posture, tone, and micro-expressions. The mistake? Most men are blind to it. They miss the unspoken signals because they're looking for logic, not instinct. But once you learn how to read her correctly, everything changes. Everything. That subtle hair flip, the way her eyes linger just half a second longer, the tilt of her head when she laughs at something that wasn't really funny. These aren't coincidences. They're attention triggers, built into her female psychology, and tied directly to an internal response she's not even consciously aware of. She doesn't decide to do these things, her body does. And this is where the real game begins, not with what she says, but with what she involuntarily shows. Now here's the uncomfortable part. Most women don't even realize this secret fantasy exists, until a man, unintentionally or not, activates it. And no, it's not about being charming, rich, or good-looking. It's about knowing how to embody a specific emotional atmosphere that touches her primitive instincts. When she feels it, her physiology reacts before her mind catches up. Her breathing shifts, her tone softens, her body leans in. She's not aware of it, but you can be. So what exactly is this fantasy? Why do 98% of women respond to the same invisible pattern, regardless of background, culture, or values? We'll get there. But first, you need to understand why it remains hidden. Because this isn't a fantasy she'll confess in conversation. It's buried underneath layers of conditioning, shame, politeness, and her desire to seem nice. But her body language doesn't lie. Her desire leaks out through action, not admission. And if you're paying attention, you'll see it. This is where most men lose the battle. They listen to her words, they buy the surface, they focus on being agreeable, supportive, emotionally available, and nothing happens. That's not because they're bad men. It's because they're operating outside the realm of sexual polarity. Without polarity, there's no current. Without current, no spark. You could be her therapist, her best friend, her shoulder to cry on, but never the man she craves. The one she submits to emotionally without resistance. Let's pause for a moment and imagine this in real life. You're on a date. She's composed. You're talking. She smiles, but then her pupils dilate. She crosses and uncrosses her legs. Her voice drops a little. These are arousal cues. Not because of what you said, but because of what you embodied. Your tone, your calm, your masculine presence. You didn't chase her validation. You didn't break eye contact. And suddenly, something in her clicked, and her body showed it. The irony? The men who constantly seek approval rarely see these signs. They're too focused on getting it right. Inks 2. Meanwhile, the man with boldness, grounded in confidence, watching the room like he owns it, not trying to impress anyone, he's the one her subconscious responds to. He doesn't need her attention, and that's why he gets it. Her silent attraction is magnetized to men who hold their own gravity, not the ones orbiting around hers. This is the first shift you must understand. Here's the part that hits deep. She's not waiting for a pickup line. She's not impressed by memorized tactics. What triggers her isn't external, it's internal. A man who naturally radiates dominance without speaking it, who walks into a room without shrinking, who looks her in the eyes without blinking, that's what flips the switch. You're not just seen, you're felt. And once you're felt, her feminine behavior starts to shift. Her words stay polite, but her body starts to confess. You've probably seen it happen. A woman says she's not interested in bad boys, but every guy she falls for shares the same traits. He's grounded, direct, unapologetic. That's male frame in action. It's the emotional container she craves, even when she pretends she doesn't. The more you explain yourself, the more you dilute your presence. But when you say less, do more, and stay centered, something in her desire system lights up. And her body language starts whispering secrets. What she really wants is a man who doesn't flinch, one who makes her feel something, even when he's silent. That feeling is rare, and it hits differently because it bypasses logic. That's where mystery lives. And women are naturally drawn to what they can't fully predict. Predictability kills polarity. When she can map you out in one conversation, she files you away emotionally. But when you keep her guessing, when your energy stays just out of reach, her arousal builds. Imagine two men in a bar. One leans in, asks a dozen questions, laughs nervously, and tries hard to connect. The other, he observes. He doesn't chase, he speaks when needed. Which one is more attractive? Every time, it's the one who holds his ground. Masculine presence isn't loud, it's still, it's calm. That calm becomes magnetic. That silence creates space for her to fill with imagination. And in that space, her own sexual strategy starts to activate. What men forget is that women are scanning for cues constantly. Not consciously, but instinctively. And the biggest signal isn't what you say, it's how you stand, breathe, and move. The shoulders pulled back, the voice paced slow, the eye contact held without apology. These things scream confidence, and confidence is her ultimate turn-on. It signals safety and power at once. When she sees that, her body responds with unspoken signals. And most men never catch them. But you will. Let's break it down even more. She adjusts her clothes. She bites her lip. Her voice changes pitch. She touches her neck more often. These are not coincidences. These are real-time arousal signals. She doesn't choose them. Her nervous system does. It's reacting to primitive instincts that no feminist theory or modern opinion can override. This is where biology outpaces belief. And if you're tuned in, these signs become a map leading directly to what her words never admit. And here's where the game gets real. Once you understand this, you can no longer pretend you didn't see it. You'll start noticing the way she looks at you when you're not trying. The shift in her breathing. The way she stays just a little longer in your presence. These are not random behaviors. They are rejection patterns in reverse. Her body is saying yes while her mind plays catch-up. That's why reading her actions means more than her words. What surprises most men is how early these visual cues appear. Long before a woman admits she's into you, her body is already reacting. Her torso might orient toward you while her words say she's just being polite. Her blink rate changes. Her laughter becomes breathier. These things aren't part of small talk. They're indicators of silent attraction, often missed by men chasing verbal validation. But if you study the room, watch her feminine behavior, and read movement over message, you'll always be ahead. Now don't mistake this for manipulation. This isn't about tricking anyone. It's about finally seeing what's already happening. These arousal signals aren't invitations, they're revelations. You don't act because you want something from her. You act because you've become the type of man who understands what few ever do. You're grounded in male power, you lead with boldness, and you carry the kind of internal certainty that flips her desire switch before she even knows why. That's real influence. Let me tell you something most guys never hear. When you start noticing these signs, it feels like waking up in a world you've been blind to for years. If you realize how many times a woman showed interest and you missed it, you see how often you chased validation while her body had already given you the answer. That clarity, it changes everything. And here, a quick pause. If this content is shaking your mindset and making the hidden truth visible, hit the like button right now, drop a comment to keep this conversation alive, and subscribe to the channel because we're only just beginning. Every video opens another door. Don't miss what's behind the next one. Let's keep going. Once you recognize these signals, you stop wasting time. You stop over-investing in women who show no desire and start paying attention to the ones whose actions speak first. That's how you develop real sexual strategy. Not based on effort, but on calibration. You adjust your energy based on what her body language reveals, not what your ego wants. This isn't about chasing, it's about reading and responding. You become more selective, more aware, and a lot more effective. There's power in restraint. When you notice she's reacting but don't rush to act on it, something rare happens. Her arousal increases. That space creates tension, and tension, when not broken too soon, fuels sexual polarity. Think of it like a string pulled tight between two energies. If you hold your ground and let the current build, she feels more drawn in without knowing why. It's not the words, it's the weight. The quiet dominance that drives her curiosity wild. Let's be clear. You're not supposed to act on every signal. Just because she's showing interest doesn't mean you move instantly. Sometimes the right play is patience. Let the mystery grow. Let her wonder if you even noticed. That unpredictability is powerful. It shifts the dynamic. Suddenly she's the one scanning your behavior, trying to read you. That reversal flips her emotional investment. Now she's the one responding to attention triggers and silently questioning her own rising desire. This is where emotional leverage comes in. When you understand the language her body speaks and you still stay calm, you hold all the cards. You're not just reacting, you're directing. You're aware of the game, but you're not desperate to win. That subtle difference creates massive power. It positions you as a man she can feel but not control. That blend of confidence, mystery, and composure. It's rare, and rare is what sticks in a woman's mind long after the moment ends. Think of female psychology like a rhythm. It's not linear or logical. It's emotional, intuitive, sensory. The moment you stop trying to decode her through analysis and start observing her with presence, you'll begin to feel the rhythm too. You'll notice when her laugh changes, when she stops checking her phone, when her body naturally mirrors yours. Those are signals, not loud, not dramatic, but they are real. Her feminine behavior syncs with masculine presence when polarity is active. You just have to stop overthinking and notice. Remember, this isn't about acting cool. It's about being centered. You can't fake confidence. Women feel energy, not effort. That's why men who pretend to be confident get ignored. While quiet, grounded men draw attention without trying. It's not performance, it's essence. Real dominance doesn't need permission. It moves with certainty. And when she senses that, her desire turns physical. Her tone softens, her pupils dilate, her breath shifts. These visual cues are not subtle to a man who's truly present. Let's revisit that concept of hypergamy. It's not just about status or money, it's about emotional elevation. She wants to feel something bigger than herself, a man who pulls her into a stronger current. That's why male power isn't loud or flashy. It's subtle, deep, and emotionally gripping. When she senses that energy in you, her arousal is no longer a choice. It becomes a physiological response. That's when she starts showing you who she really is, without saying a word. The mistake most men make is trying to control her words. They argue, they explain, they try to convince. But words are only 10% of what she's communicating. The rest lives in tone, space, timing, tension. That's where unspoken signals thrive. If you focus on what's not being said, you'll always see more than the guy who's clinging to every sentence. Learn to read pauses, stillness, the way she lingers. That's how you unlock the truth beneath words and lead with quiet power. One of the most powerful things you can do is say nothing and still hold the room. That energy makes her lean in. It's not arrogance, it's centeredness. When your presence speaks louder than your voice, you no longer need tactics. You become the signal. Her body picks it up before she understands why. That's when her submission shows up, not as weakness, but as trust. A woman's surrender is always earned. And it begins with your ability to lead without force. Let me give you something you can apply today. Next time you're around a woman, don't chase the moment, observe it. Watch how she reacts when you pause longer before speaking, how she moves when you hold eye contact calmly, how her voice changes when you speak slower. These are windows into her primitive instincts. She's constantly scanning for men who feel different, not men who impress, but men who anchor. That's what makes her feel safe, aroused, and emotionally pulled in. Every man has a choice. You can ignore these signs and keep playing blind, or you can sharpen your awareness and begin reading the room like never before. The world doesn't teach you this, but it's there, hidden in every interaction. Her sexual polarity is always waiting to be awakened. The only question is whether you'll stay the man she overlooks or become the man her body notices first. Your awareness is your power. Don't waste it. Let's bring this into perspective. You don't need to become someone else. You just need to strip away the noise. Stop second-guessing yourself. Stop apologizing for being a man with masculine presence. When you walk into a room, walk like you belong. When you speak, do it with calm weight. When you notice arousal signals, honor them, but don't chase them. That combination of awareness and stillness makes you unforgettable. You stop performing, you start embodying. That's what activates her deepest desire. You might be thinking this is all too subtle, but subtle is what works. Loudness fades, intrusion is repelled. But a man who can generate tension just by existing is dangerous in the best way. Her body will remember your presence long after the conversation ends. She'll replay the eye contact, the pause, the unshakable confidence. That's emotional leverage at its highest level. And most men will never get there because they're too focused on doing more instead of becoming more. Let me tell you about Marcus. He was a guy who tried hard, overexplained, and constantly asked if she was okay. Women liked him as a friend. Then he changed one thing. He stopped chasing reactions and started holding silence. He learned to read visual cues, stay still when it mattered, and let her energy rise. One night, a woman leaned in and whispered, "I don't know why, but you feel different." That was it. He had cracked silent attraction. Marcus didn't become someone new. He remembered who he was. And when he did, women felt it. That's what I want for you. Not tricks, not manipulation, just depth. just presence. When you let go of the need to impress and tune into the moment, female psychology stops being confusing. It becomes readable. Her body tells a story. Her feminine behavior gives you clues. And if you're the man who sees what others don't, she'll respond in ways even she won't understand. Every woman holds a version of this secret fantasy. It's not about being dominated in a cruel way. It's about surrendering into something stronger, more certain, more stable than the chaos in her mind. That's what dominance truly means. Not loud control, but calm direction. If you can provide that, she'll naturally soften, lean in, follow. And no, she won't tell you why. She might not even know. But her body will say everything. You just have to be listening. You now have the map. You've seen the arousal signals, the primitive instincts, the deeper currents that move beneath the surface. The only question is what you'll do with it. Will you ignore it, let it fade, and keep operating blind? Or will you apply it, refine it, and become the man who doesn't just attract women, but understands them? That's a different level of power. And it's no longer out of reach. It's in your hands now, completely. There's a moment right before she looks away when she hesitates. That moment holds everything. Her body language tightens, her breath changes, her pupils widen. You'll miss it if you're not ready, but if you are, it's your doorway into her interest, into her attention, into her desire. And that's why we don't chase, we don't beg, we observe. We hold the frame. We lead without force. That's what separates the forgettable from the unforgettable. That's what makes her remember you. Now that you've seen what most men never will, the real question is, what are you going to do with it? Are you going to step back into the fog, pretending attraction is random and mysterious? Or are you ready to start reading women clearly, with your eyes open and your presence sharpened? Every woman you meet from now on will be saying something, even if she never says a word. Will you be the man who hears it? Drop this phrase in the comments if you're ready to level up your game starting today. Her body speaks. I'm listening. Thanks for being here. Seriously. If you made it to the end, it means you're not like most men. You're not just looking for answers. You're doing the work. So help this message reach someone else who needs it. Like this video, share it with a brother, and hit that subscribe button with the bell on so you never miss what's coming next. This journey is just beginning, and it gets deeper from here.